Can we can you
Hey, everybody, how are you? Forgetting to unmute today. I am so excited that you guys are here. We have an awesome show. My co host, Davina. I am Coach Rosie, real estate investor and creative wealth strategist. Hey, I am awesomely happy that you are here today watching our show. Davina, why don't you go ahead and tell them who you are today? We have a
Hi
new co.
everyone. Yes, I am the new co-host to Coach Rosie.
Wow.
I'm super excited to be in the building today. I'm Davina Williams Booker, by the way, and I'm a part of the Wealth Creators community. I am a life insurance agent and so much more. So I'm just excited to be here and to be a part of this amazing team.
Awesome. Thank you, Davina. I'm so happy that you are here too. Yes. So, listen, guys, welcome to Wealth Creator Spotlight. This is our bi weekly show. And this particular show is all about giving people the opportunity, and I'm talking about other wealth creators, the opportunity to showcase their success stories and the impact that they're making, really offering inspiration and strategies to help you to elevate your own path. And today we have a phenomenal couple that's going to join us. And I want you guys to meet them because they are such awesome, inspirational people and such a power couple. And it doesn't matter what age you are, we get to do our thing at any age. So, for those of you who always thought, well, I might be a little too old to do something, or whatever that thing is that's been holding you back, let me tell you, when you meet these two, you are going to be surprised and shocked and inspired by all of the wonderful things that they're doing. So I want you today to meet Tony and Nalita Hayes. They are the visionary media producers, kingdom builders, and passionate advocates for economic empowerment. Now, after retiring from their very impactful careers, Tony was in the film industry and Nalita in public service. So they took their mission globally and they began to spread their faith and financial wisdom. So what does all of this mean? Like they from launching the Hayes and Hayes Insurance Services to co-hosting an international TV ministry and now building a legacy through the Creative Increase Investment Group. Now, they've combined kingdom principles with practical wealth building strategies under the guidance of the Wealth Creators community. And their story is so powerful. And it reminds us that it's never too late to activate your vision and elevate your mission. So let's welcome, hey, let's bring them forward, Tony and Melita Hayes. Woo-hoo!
Super excited.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Welcome to our spotlight. So let's begin. I believe you're on mute, so let's unmute, please. Yes, this is such an awesome, it is beautiful having you guys here.
It
Davina
said
and
I'm
I are
unmuted.
so
There you
excited.
go.
Davina and I
We
are
can
so
hear
excited
you now.
you guys are here
Okay.
today. And I know that you guys have so much that you're going to be able to offer to those folks who are listening today, who have been thinking about, even as a couple or not being a couple, being an individual person, but thinking about how they want to change their lives and just hadn't made a move yet. Right. And here, the two of you, and I know you don't mind mentioning your age because you've done it before, right? And you're on this huge mission, doing really great things at your current age. And I know the two of you, you're not even thinking about just now. You're thinking about like even way down in the line, right? Like God
Oh
giving you an.
yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So, what words, we're going to start with this today. What words could you give Nalita to express to folks the importance of living your dreams and when you should start living it and when you should start? What could you say to those folks?
You can start yesterday. you know, I was looking at the Wealth Creators Creed, and I was looking at number 27, and it said that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
Maybe it took me a long time to get ready, but I decided in my life that I wanted to create generational wealth. I wanted to be that person in my family to perpetuate. My parents left a legacy and gave me a good seed, a good foundation to start. And I decided I wanted to create generational wealth. And I had been decreeing and declaring that in my personal private time when we found Marvin Mitchell online. Mm-hmm. And my husband was the first one that found him. We were watching another mentor, and Marvin was a guest on that show. And yes, Myron Golden. And then we started following Marvin.
Yes.
And I mean, I was just blown away. And we loved his passion, but his sincerity of heart. Right. Because I felt like this was a person that really cared. He really cared about people. So what I would say to anyone, if you want to get started, whatever vision God has put on the inside of you, the time to do it is now.
Yes.
Right now. Because the doors are open. The windows are open wide. It's never too late. Like you said, our age, I'm never too late to activate. Right. I like that. I like that.
That's a proverb, Coach Rosie. Never too late to activate.
I mean, I'm retired. I've been retired from the Postal Service for 12 years, be 13 years in November. Mm-hmm. And I'm 67. And Tony is
75.
75.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, it is never too late to start. It's never too. We never stop learning. When you stop learning, you stop growing. Right. And anything that's not growing is like,
that's right.
No, we don't die. We multiply.
That's right.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. So listen to this. I know you guys are a part of Wealth Creators. What inspired you to come into Wealth Creators?
Okay, I'll answer that question. Marvin says something very unique about investing in yourself. And I remember the moment I seen him on that talk show with Myron Golden, the way my wife said that he had expressed himself and what he had accomplished so far and the wisdom that he carried. I said, wow, this is a guy that's been through things, but he wears a crown of generosity for his family, for his community, and the things that happened to him in his personal life, how he took that and turned it into a mountain of blessings for other people as well. How he lost someone in his family, talking about his grandmother. He made a commitment. So when I see a man take those kind of steps, for us fighting for your wealth, I just join in with him and strengthen him. I just want to be a part of something that's really is moving. It's a movement, and it's a blessing for generations to come. And my story is coming from a situation in my life where I never seen my father. I moved to California, had a chance to meet him. I learned his trade, and I worked with him for a while. He was a painting contractor, but I left working with him, went into the industry, and I got to move into some areas in the entertainment industry, painting sets and stuff like that, and designing them. And God gave me truly a blessing. And in the process of that, went through some drama, met this beautiful woman here, and God took me to the next level.
Yeah. That's right.
I'd like to add one thing to that. You said about what got us, really motivated us to get into this. Listening to Marvin talking about how you can grow your money uninterrupted and your money can steadily grow, because I had invested in a brokerage account. But, the stock market went through it kind of goes up and down. And I was doing all right. I had dividends coming in that was helping to help my retirement. But it's no fun watching your money go up and down. And I would hear people all the time saying, well, my money's growing whether the market's going up or down, and I'm like, well, how do you do that? How do you do that? Yeah. Well, I joined this group to learn how to do that.
Invest in yourself.
There you go. I love it.
That is right. Yeah. I have a follow-up question for you, Tony. I know that you just mentioned about what Marvin said about investing in yourself. So what advice would you give people out there that are looking to invest in themselves, but they're kind of not sure if they should because whatever reason that may be, what encouraging words would you say to someone out there that's looking to invest in themselves, possibly into well creators?
Well, I would say this: God give us breath to breathe, and we should breathe it wisely and make the best of it, and know that there's something in you that's been given by God, and there's a gift that has to be unfolded. So when the Lord leads you to an environment, to an atmosphere where this the gifts and you can be birthed and take it to the next level, I say do whatever you can to walk in those footsteps. I say get on your knees and pray and say, God, help me do what you called me to do. And God will guide your footsteps into an atmosphere that will bring miracles and signs and wonders and creative strategies. I remember when I met Marvin the first time we was on a Wealth Creators call, and I was telling him about certain things I've been involved with. And he did a GTP thing and threw it in my face. And that was the best investment I could ever have. I was stagnant in some areas. I would write notes. I drop it. I would write notes. We travel. I get experiences. But then he showed me how to put it all together, And when he did that, it was like I felt the harvest. I don't know how to explain it, but when he did that, I felt I already received the harvest of it.
It ignited something.
It ignited in me. So those talking about there's gifts that we all have given by the Creator. We just got to know how to stir up those deep wells of blessings that's in all of us. And you got to do it because that's the way we were created. We were created to create. We are co-creators with the great Creator. And how we in this family right now it's amazing. And we're a generation that's going to like shift and take it to the next level where it be I can see
not just for ourselves too.
Yeah,
we're bringing other people along with us.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this, Tony, because you're talking about the gift, right? You're talking about gifts, and you have a special gift as well that God has given to you, and that, and many, of course, but this is one that we also know that you have, and that's the gift of the shofar and being able to use that shofar in a way that is healing and delivering to other people. So let's talk about that shofar for a moment. Tell folks who don't know or who may not know that are listening, what is the shofar and what's the meaning behind it?
The shofar has so many multitude of meanings, but one of the most important thing is that it's really from the breath of God. When God breathed in us, we became a living soul. So it's the breath that we breathe. And when we breathe the shofar through, I breathe my breath through that, we connect with our Creator. And we're designed to have, that's a DNA in us that we're created. Even our DNA is shaped like a shofar. And once you understand it, how it affects the atmosphere and how it locks us in unity with one another. I'll never forget the first time I released the sound when Marvin asked me to. I knew I was releasing it to people's destiny, strengthening us, uniting us as one. It's a sound of unity. It's a sound of blessings. It's a sound of breakthrough things or things that you're going through. It breaks off of you, and where creativity begins to flow through your life, and you become it become melodies in your heart. When every time I release this sound, just like I heard the music today, the intro, I love the intro. And I was sounding the shofar to the intro because I know it was edifying, And when I released the sound, is God giving me a wisdom to share with you, and you'll feel the frequency of that, and you can take it what you believe in God for, or just in your quiet time, that shofar will just zoom, and you're on another level, and it's a lot of meanings. I ended up writing a book. I thought it was going to be one book. Through Marvin, he showed me how to do all that stuff. Right now, I thought I was finished with one, then it went to two, then it went to three. So I'm not going to see how God want to keep flowing with this. It might be a volume, might be an encyclopedia. I don't know, because over the years we've been traveling and we've been to different nations, and I'm incorporating all these things with the airports and with the highest tower in Dubai, releasing that sound, and going in places where you wouldn't think people would go to, like places like Haiti, and release the sound of the shofar, and people getting set free from a lot of serious stuff, So it keeps growing. It keeps growing, and I don't know when to. I don't know. It keeps the harvest keeps coming, and I don't want to stop it from growing. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way I can say it.
Well, tell them the shofar was the sound on the mountain on Mount Sinai when
Yes.
God came and
Okay.
gave the
Yeah.
Torah.
Yeah. When God gave the Ten Commandments, and God introduced Himself to those who was in captivity, it was thunder, there was lightning, the earth began to shake, and there was the sound of the shofar, and the sound got louder and louder and louder. So when we hear it, it stirs us up to be reverence towards God. It gives you that, you go into that
Okay.
secret place, where deep calls unto deep. Be still and know that I am God. I mean,
And this
I
is
hope.
not just about this shofar is not just about just the sound, right? You guys have
Mhm,
taken this to a whole new level, like
mhm.
global, like as a
Yes,
ministry, right? It's
yes,
become a
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
ministry, not just folks have gifts and they have talents to play instruments, right?
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
is what you guys have done with this is totally different than just going out and sharing sound. This
Right.
is spiritual enlightenment and healing and deliverance and all of these
Yes.
things you guys have
Yes.
taken internationally, right?
Yes.
Global.
You're,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
you're
So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
let's
been
talk
over
about
10 different.
Over 10 different
Yeah,
nations.
we've been
Yeah.
over 10 different
Yeah.
nations sounding the shofar. And a lot of times the Lord has them to sound it right in the airport, which is kind of like gateways into the city and whatever. And sometimes we realize we're on a divine assignment. Like, for instance,
Tell them about this time in Australia.
we we ended up over in Australia. Now it's interesting. It was only because I had a dream. I had a dream that somebody saw Tony and said, "Oh, at your age, you're in such good shape. You should play on our international cricket team." Like, Tony don't know nothing about no cricket. But I have a friend whose fiance plays cricket. So I said, well, in the dream, I said, I'll tell her about it. And a couple of days later, she called me and I told her about the dream. She said, oh my God, that's exactly what's going on. Her fiance had just joined the international cricket team. Well, long
Wow.
story short, they were going to Australia for some type of over 50, over 60 league or something. And we said, oh, we want to go because I always wanted to go to Australia. But to this day, we still have not seen him play cricket. But we ended up at the Sydney Opera House, and we went to go visit the Sydney Opera House. We got the sound of shofar and pray over some gentlemen from a singing group or whatever there. But when we went in, one of the guards, they asked Tony, said, "Excuse me, sir, can I ask what that is?"
Because
And
he
he,
was security.
yeah, he was security.
Because if I'm carrying it, it looks like might be packing something. So they had to look at it. So.
Anyway, so Tony said, "Oh yeah," and he explained the shofar. It's the sound you hear with the second coming of Jesus and all that. And he said, "Would you like to hear how it sounds?" He said, "Sure." He sounded it, and then the head security came over and said, "That sounds like introducing royalty or something."
Yeah.
That was the very night that the Queen of England went home to be with the Lord. The next
oh,
day we came for a play. They had her image all over the Sydney Opera House. And Tony was like, I'd love to sound the shofar, but it's they have the flags that have mass
And it was
this.
so quiet. I mean, here's an outdoor atmosphere. A lot of people, you couldn't hear a pin drop because the queen had passed, right? There was a heavy mourning in the air.
Well,
And God had
they
set
had
it
the
up.
music going too.
Yeah, but still, but God had set it up for everybody to hear. Just go on, I'll let you tell the story.
Anyway, a photographer came up and said, "Excuse me, sir, could I get a picture with you holding that up with the image of the queen? Because her image was all over the whole opera house. It's made out of abalone
The roof
shells.
is, so
The
you can
roof
see the
is."
vision. Yeah.
And so
It
he
it
held it up.
is.
She said, "Would you mind sounding it?" And so he sounded, and that went all over the country out there because she was part of the
Yeah.
media and stuff.
Yeah.
But we realized it was a divine assignment. There is no way we would have been in Australia
At that
when the
time.
queen passed.
Yeah.
And all on the news, they had all these quotes and saying all these things. I don't know what's true and what's not true, but they were saying how she said, "Oh, I wish that the Lord would come during my time because I would love to cast my crown at his feet."
Yeah.
It's like, I said, well,
Wow.
Yeah.
one day, Tony said,
That
well,
is
one day we'll
Yeah,
all
amazing.
cast our crown at his feet.
right.
And I sounded the
These
shofar. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
these are amazing stories, and I'm so glad that you're sharing all these beautiful stories with us. And we know that you guys have been global all over the place. So I just wanted to ask you this question: with your global business, what inspired you to start that?
The creative increase investment. So which one are you
Yes,
talking about? Oh,
yes.
okay. During the time of COVID. Okay. Everything got shut down. And you couldn't move. So um, I knew I wanted to do things in the economic field, and I'm connected with the economic development for certain nations like the Navajo Nation. And they need a lot of creativity. They need a lot of things that can inspire them to help them come to the next level. They're very wounded from what had happened. And we, like us, we have to have compassion for one another, and I think our compassion coming together will actually create a stronger foundation for America. To really make America great again is to honor the First Nation, and honor who they are, what they do. There's stories about them called the talkers that cause us to win a war. Right now, one of the major things in the world today is that this country needs a lot. All nations need a lot of energy. Do you know the land reserved for a blessing has all the energy and the resources right here in America? And that's on the land reserved for a blessing. I'm
But they
talking about,
they need a lot of things in their nations.
yeah,
There's areas where there's people have to drive, ways to
yeah.
get clean water.
Let me-
They need housing,
Right.
and through the connection that we made through wealth creators.
Right. And also, getting back to creative increased investment, I want to take this and help them, to learn what I'm learning about wealth creators and elevate the next generation to become wealth creators for their own nation, you know, and making global contact with other people. That came by learning what Marvin talked about, how to work and how to talk and how to confess certain things. And when I started doing that, my borders expanded. I'm talking about in Bali and talking about Vietnam,
Indonesia.
Indonesia, my goodness, Amsterdam and New
So
Zealand. It's just so
let,
yeah.
let's talk about this for a moment because when you're talking about expansion, right? God
Hmm.
has you in a place of expansion. Uh,
Hmm.
Ms. Hayes, Nalita, you have, when we talk about the wealth and wealth building strategies, you guys also do the insurance side. So talk about
Yep.
that.
Yes,
What
yes,
what
ma'am.
inspired you to want to not just learn about insurance? Like, some folks go to school, we just want to learn about something. But what inspired you to want to not just learn about it, but then to take that to others throughout the world? Like what did that for you?
Just being a part of wealth creators, because like I said, I've been retired for 12 years. I was not looking for a job, and I'm still not looking for a job. But the more I learned when I would come to those sessions and hear, talk about insurance and what it can do and how people use that to generate wealth down the line, and how families have used that for generations, but it's just not in all the communities. And so it's like we need economic intelligence. We need to develop more to learn how to pass down wealth to our families. I've seen families that the children inherit the house but couldn't keep the house, or someone had their home go back to what do you call them when they do reverse mortgage or whatever. And I've
Foreclosure.
seen families when tragedy hits, too many families in the area where I come from, people are doing GoFundMe's to because we don't have all our ducks in a row. So I was like, you know what, we need to know how to be set up, how to be prepared, how to increase our wealth, how to protect our wealth, how to shelter it from too much taxes, how to grow our wealth. And
Yes.
so that is something that I can be passionate about sharing. Like I said, when I retired, we ended up going out on a mission field. And I look at this kind of like another mission,
It is.
because we, generally
Yeah.
a lot of people in the inner city, in the middle class community, have not really been taught how to generate, how to protect, and how to grow their wealth. And I love that how Marvin's teaching us how to make every dollar have more than one job. Let it be constantly growing. And as that money's constantly growing, consistently uninterrupted, you can still borrow off of that and use that to create wealth, to buy some income producing assets or whatever it is you need to do to pay off debt, which we definitely want to get out of credit card debt and all that bad debt and stuff. Because we watched a documentary one time how they really prey on people that keep debt. So are you going to be a debtor? Are you going to be a saver? Or are you going to be a wealth creator? We want to be wealth creators.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget, right? There's good debt and there's bad debt.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, a lot of people are afraid of debt. And the moment you talk about, getting into that and afraid of debt, but then we go and we take out student loans and car notes and all of these other things. Those are all debts, right? So what the wealthy do is they're looking at good debt, right?
Yes.
The wealthy have debt, but it's good debt. It's the debt making money babies, right? It's
Yes.
creating more money. And so you don't worry about debt that's creating more money. We worry about the debt that's stagnant, not creating more money, baby.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
And so we want to do what the wealthy have been doing for many, many years. And I should say, not just want, we are doing that, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So that is fantastic. What I want to do now is open up the door.
Before you go into that, Miss Coach Rosie, I do have something to share. I'm glad we're talking about this conversation with the debt and good debt, bad debt. So we've learned that the debt that we get ourselves into is liabilities, and what the wealthy do, they use debt as a leverage to create assets. So we have to learn how to switch that thought pattern from, using debt to create liabilities and use it to actually leverage to create, assets. So we make more money with those assets.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Now, if y'all didn't catch that, that's a gem.
I got it.
Thank you, Ms. Davina.
That's right. Assets over liabilities, right?
That's right.
So what I wanted to do, though, was thank you, Davina. That was absolutely awesome. Was open up the door for anyone who's watching our audience to be able to ask you guys questions. So if you have a question, please put it in your chat, and we'll be more than happy to have them answer that question for you. Now, so Ms. Hayes, I guess this question is going to go for both of you guys. I want you to take like 30 seconds to describe how you've been able to live together and work together for so long. 30 seconds.
I know it's not an easy
on
task.
my knees. I walk on my knees more to do my feet.
I have a joke. It's only a joke, but I always tell them, I said, I keep something just your size in case you get crazy to fit right around your little scrunchie.
I said, I got to sound like your
but I'm just joking. In reality, this is my bestest friend in the whole wide world. My best friend. Matter of fact, I have a pillow in our bedroom that says, it gave the definition of marriage is a permanent, consistent sleepover with my best friend.
Yeah.
And I love
sleep
that.
on it. She programs me every night. So I go in, I'm programmed. I'm a robot, boy. No. But I would say
he's only teasing. Can I say one thing?
Okay.
When he was sharing about some economic development he's doing right now, one of the things, because of a connection we made through Wealth Creators, he connected the Navajo to be able to get some homes. They've been needing housing.
Yes.
But the problem is, they have a different situation. They don't own the land. And so we're connected with, we met Benicia Watson at the Wealth Creators in Texas.
Yes.
And we connected them and made a meeting. And at first, Tony was nervous. He called Marvin. Well, Marvin, and he said, Tony, just be yourself. Just do what you do, brother.
Yeah, that's a good advice.
And that's something that God has used us to connect people, just like he used Davina and Kenny to make that connection with Marvin and the Sage Masters and stuff. God has used us to connect people. So when he put that meeting together, she actually created a program just specifically for them.
That's right.
And so they're going to start, they're going to be doing thousands of homes that they can do. But it's a program that she created specifically for them because she knew how to work with people that didn't own their land from working with other nations.
Right.
And so
she's very.
that's a big time
Yeah.
blessing.
So anybody looking for look up Prime One Banking. I tell you, it's a gold mine that you can really be a blessing by. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it was just because of the connections here with wealth creators, we meet so many people, and the people that are in the group, we meet and you connect with, and you don't know who you're sitting right next to in some of those masterminds and stuff. You meet the people and you find out what they do, and we can connect one another. One of the couples that are in our group, we found out we have some land in Texas that we want to develop and put something on that land. And one of the couples, Derek and Cheryl, in the Wealth Creators, live only like 30 minutes from us. They already have a team of people that can help us. And so I'm trying to get my family on board about getting this done. Yes.
That's beautiful.
Mitchell family.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, they're
Listen,
awesome, man.
it's
Yeah,
about connections, right? It's about getting in the room, getting connected. So not just being in the room, but actively involved while you're there and connecting with other people. And that's really, Wealth Creators is so excellent at doing that. Marvin has put together such a beautiful opportunity for all of the folks who come into Wealth Creators to be able to connect with other folks that they more than likely would not have ever met in their entire lives, right? And now they have an opportunity to sit next to, and don't know who they're sitting next to initially, right?
That's right.
Person that can help you to get to that next goal of yours. And that's really what this spotlight is about, highlighting all of you beautiful people who have these amazing ideas and desire to do extremely great things, not just for yourselves and your family, but to extend outwardly, globally, right?
Yes.
All about, and that is the blessing of God. So Davina, do you have a final question for the Hayes or anything you want to ask them? And then we're going to prepare to kind of go home, y'all. We got to go home.
Okay.
I know this is good though.
Yeah. So I just want to say I'm truly inspired by the Hazes. They are such a beautiful couple. Your guys' energy it lights up a room. It gives me energy. So thank you so much for being who you are. And
Thank
if
you.
there's one thing that you want to say to the audience, what is that one thing that you would like to just, pour into the audience? What is that one thing?
I would say invest in what God put into you, and you'll get a good harvest. Invest in you, and God will give the increase. That's one of the reasons why I call it creative increase investment. Not only did I say creative, I put the number 8 in it. Creative with the 8. It connects to eternity. It connects to, so the way I spell it is with an 8 in it as well. And I would say, to invest in what God's giving you, and you will definitely get a good blessing from heaven.
And I'll say this,
Absolutely.
Wealth Creators is a great investment.
Yes.
Because you're going to stir up those gifts that are inside of you. You're going to connect with other like-minded people.
Yes.
You're going to learn things, how to protect your money, how to grow your wealth, all kind of strategies. There's always new things being injected in the Wealth Creators at my age, learning how to trade and learning how to do swing trades. That's something I can do with my account to keep making money while, anyway. If you're not at a place where you want to be, the best investment you can do is always to invest in yourself.
Amen.
And Wealth Creators is a great investment.
That's right.
Because this is not just a one-time thing. This is a movement, a global movement to help everyday people learn how to create generational wealth to pass down to their families.
Amen.
And you want to be a part.
And we
Amen.
So much.
I agree.
And I are so elated that you came to visit us today. We are just sending blessings your way, and we thank you for coming, and we love you. So, hey,
thank you, Coach Rosie.
you're very welcome. Any of you who are interested in learning more about wealth creators, please send a message as part of the YouTube channel that we're on today. Also, tonight at 7 p.m., we have a wealth creators webinar. So if you want to learn more about what is going on in wealth creators and how you can become a part, it is tonight. It is free and it starts at 7 p.m. 7 p.m.
Yes, be
tonight.
in the room, people. Be in the room.
Do we have a link for that any place for that webinar? If we could showcase that somehow, or if they can find that on our YouTube channel, possibly you'll be able to get that. Yep, it's
That's
dropped in
Eastern Standard Time.
That's right, absolutely.
Okay.
So you can find it on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. All right, that link will be there. It's tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we totally thank you guys for coming out today. I see that you have that shofar in your hand. Let's see if the sound is going to work on Restream. I'm not sure of how it's going to come out, but let's see. We pray that it comes out really well. Thank y'all for being on today. Thank you, Davina.
Thank you. Let's go.
Invest in yourself. Wealth creators. Yeah.
Blessing.
God bless y'all.
God bless you. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Pastor.
He said, thank you, Pastor.
Pastor.
I turned my